Thank you. All right, I would like to call to order the Finance and Safety Committee meeting of the Watertown City Council, Monday, April 16, 2018. The first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Solom and a second by Vilhauer. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Second item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the April 2nd, 2018 meeting. Moved by Albertson, second by Thorson. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 3, cooperative purchasing agreement with the state of Minnesota. Were you going to talk about that, Matt, or you want me to? Yeah, okay, this is an option for us to utilize the state of Minnesota's bidding process, and we can buy things off of their bids. We don't need to do this for the state of South Dakota. We already have the right automatically to use anybody else, the South Dakota bids, but in Minnesota, not so much. So we would have to have an actual action from the council to do this. And that we have used the Minnesota bids in the past, so this will just give us the option. So I'd look for a motion for approval. Moved by Vilhauer, second by Roby. Any discussion or questions? All those in, Albertson?
I just have a comment that I hope that we would try to do most of our business locally. And I know there are sometimes, we used to do it in the school also, that we would have certain times we would use mass billings or biddings, but I hope that we look locally as much as possible.
Generally we do, and I've never seen these used unless there was a kind of a specialty item that we just don't get locally. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 4 is authorization for the mayor to sign a Prairie Lakes Wellness Center sponsorship agreement with Dakota Bank. And I'll ask for a motion in second, and then we'll have some discussion. Moved by Vilhauer, second by Roby. Matt, do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, I can. As you all know, we've been working over the last, 6 months or so with Ryan Query of Great Plains Sponsorships out of Sioux Falls to try to get some sub-sponsors lined up for our Prairie Lakes Wellness Center. And what you have in front of you for items 4 and 5 are the approval of the finalized contracts for 2 of these sponsors. One is Dakota Bank, and the next one will be Vast. And Glenn could probably actually speak to a lot of the details of the agreement more than I can. Generally, Dakota's agreement is for 2 large signs, one as you're leaving the Wellness Center and one in the Parks and Rec gym. 20% employee discount for their employees and various other perks. And it's a 3-year agreement. Glenn, do you want to add anything?
Just a couple comments. It has been approved by Prairie Lake. That's stipulation with our contract with them. I believe Dakota Bank has signed off. We got a signature page for them just the other day.
Yes, I was going to add that. Yeah.
It's been a fairly long process, so it'd be nice to put this one to bed with Dakota Bank. And there was kind of a subgroup of Councilman Roby, Councilman Danforth, and myself that have also looked and been involved in this and have okayed it relative to the work that Ryan Query was doing. So at this point, I would recommend that we do move forward on this.
Yeah, and I would confirm we did receive that signature page on Friday. Just we received it after the agenda was published, so it has been approved by Dakota Bank as well.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 5 is authorization for the mayor to sign Prairie Lakes Wellness Center sponsorship agreement with Vast. I'd look for a motion and second for that. Moved by Thorson, second by Albertson. Want to add about this one?
The
Glenn?
only thing I would add, because of the technical nature of this relative to what's involved, is we had Spencer Tenick involved in this conversation as well, going back to last summer, really. So I think, Spencer, you pretty well blessed this as well. So otherwise, same process involved as far as council members, hospital, VAS personnel, and I believe VAS has also signed off on this as well. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So I would suggest we move forward. And just a comment, there's going to probably be a few more of these coming before us in the near future, so it's nice to see some of these getting put to bed.
Yes. Any other comments or questions? Over here. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 6 is Cottington County Heritage Museum discussion. And is anyone here in the audience to talk about this? I can talk about it. This doesn't require any action. It's just a discussion, but we've got word from the Cottington County Heritage Museum that there were some issues with that building, which the city owns. And the Historical Society leases that building from the city, and they are responsible for the roof repairs. And one of the major expenses is roof repair. And they don't have a big income. And so they were asking for a little bit of help with that. It goes beyond their budget ability to pay for the roof, and if they aren't able to pay for it, our building deteriorates. So that's that. Then the other items are the roof is $29,850 as an estimate. The electrical work is estimated $15,425.42. Plumbing work, $8,596.95. Drywall and paint estimate, $9,158.17. Carpeting, $16,398.85. And a wheelchair lift estimate, around $15,000, and bathroom accessibility improvements, $7,500. And want to bring this to your attention because I'm probably going to put these things in the budget for next year, and just wanted to know if you have any misgivings about that, or how you would feel about the roof part of it being done by the city as we own the building. Glenn?
As I tally all these up, we've got about $102,000 that looks like it's needing to be done. I'm going to play devil's advocate here for just a minute. I've been a strong supporter. I mean, my wife and I have been members of the Historical Society for a long time, but it is public information, so this is information available out there if anybody wants to find it. I've got the 2016 tax return here for the Cottington County Historical Society. They have to file a 990 with the IRS, and that is a public document. And as of the end of 2016, I'm guessing 2017 probably has not yet been filed, there was $427,000 showing on their balance sheet as publicly traded security investments that I guess I can't help but, and these are shown as being unrestricted assets of the society. So I guess I've got to ask the question: what's the plans for use of those dollars, and why are they not being looked at for purposes of these maintenance items? I'm posing that question now for consideration in the future.
That's a good question. I wasn't aware of that. Anybody else want to make any comments? Councilman
It
Danforth?
really isn't about that comment. That's a good comment, Glenn, on that. But I do have a question on this building. We own the building. So would this work be done through the city, or would they have it done and we reimburse them? Are they subject to the same bid laws that we would be? How does that work when, I think, like, haven't we with the senior citizens building, any work there, haven't we coordinated that and paid for it?
I think they have done some, though, that anything major I think we've done.
Right. That's what I'm wondering it was a question of, somebody had asked me out here, and then I had that question earlier today, is just for sake of procedure, how does that work with this if we do this? I don't know what the answer to that is, but
Kristen?
The one thing is that each one of these that's listed would not be over the $50,000 threshold to require a bid. If you did group them all as one big project, then you could get into that where they'd start to fall into one project. I do know when they came and had a conversation with us too, I don't think that all those things that they listed they wanted in like 1 year, one time. I think this was kind of their priority list of things that really they're aware of and need to be looked at. So that was just kind of another point of clarification. But you are correct. Anytime there's a big project at the Senior Citizen Center, the city has taken over getting the quotes and handling the construction and stuff like that. So.
Right. Any other discussion?
So I'm not an accountant, but is it possible that the funds that you were talking about, Glenn, because we own the building and those are part of the society itself, is that make them two separate things? I'm just trying to understand that. I get what you're saying. It's a really good question. But we own the building and that money belongs to the Historical Society. So,
Well, I mean, you're correct, Beth. I mean, that money is the Historical Society's money. I mean, I'm not arguing that. And that's been apparently accumulated over the years, or I'm not sure what the origin of it, probably some bequests over the years. But my point is that money is there to be used for whatever necessities come up. And I'm just questioning, I mean, have they considered tapping into their own funds rather than coming to the city for these maintenance items?
yeah, go ahead, Don.
What does the lease say?
The lease says that the Historical Society is responsible for the roof, not the other items.
So, Mayor, would that then say that we're responsible for the other items?
Yes.
Okay.
They're building repairs, and they, went to the effort of getting quotes on them, and I don't know that they're responsible to do those things. I think that as a landlord, we should probably take care of those things which are our responsibility. The roof would be the only thing questionable.
Yeah, I mean, and I've got to defer to what the terms of the lease say. I mean, whatever is our responsibility as the landlord, yes, and we should be paying for. But if there are things that, under the terms of the lease, they would be responsible for, that's where this needs to come into play.
It would be a good conversation with them or their board about their plans for that funds. I mean, I can picture costs of exhibits and moving things around. I just think that would be a good conversation to have with their board at some point about that money that you.
I agree. Yes, Councilman Lallam.
My question would be for them is some of this stuff because of the roof? I mean, there's water damages and stuff like that, which would be a deferred maintenance item versus a repair items. I mean, if the roof was bad before and it was leaking and it caused these damages, it's not on technically the landlord. So, just a comment.
That's a good point. Any other questions or comments? Okay, that was just an informational item. So move on. Is there any old business? Any new business? We do not have a need for executive session, so I'll look for a motion and second to adjourn. Moved by Solom, second by Thorson. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned, and we will reconvene at 7 o'clock for our council meeting.